What is good, everyone? Hopefully you're doing well. I had a rapture dream last night. It is still early in the morning. It's 6:35 in the morning, and I wanted to get on here really quick so I don't forget and explain everything. It was a really quick dream. I went to bed last night pretty late or early in the morning, however you look at it. I usually don't get to bed until about 3 o'clock in the morning. And I laid in bed and I prayed to God. And I've been battling really lately about whether or not the rapture is real. And I've been getting a lot of conflicted views on the rapture. And I've been feeling weighted on my shoulders of whether or not the rapture is real, whether it's going to happen or not. And if it's soon. And so I laid in bed last night before I went to bed, and I fell asleep, and I asked God, I was like, God, please give me a rapture dream. And I don't dream. I do, but I rarely do dream. And when I do dream, I forget the dream rather quickly. But this dream was short. It wasn't a long rapture dream. But it was vivid. It was probably one of the most vivid dreams I've had in a very, very long time. And I asked God, please give me a dream tonight, a rapture dream, for confirmation, for clarity, to allow me to have peace and not anxiety about it, and allow me to understand that it's real, if it's real, and when it's going to happen, if it's soon. And I fell asleep, and when I woke up after the dream, I looked directly at the clock shortly after, and it was around 6:15. So this dream was probably somewhere around 5:30, between 5:30 and 6 o'clock this morning. And in the dream, it was nighttime. It was probably, I would say, early, super early morning, because it was super black outside. And I ended up going, this is going to fall. I'm trying to concentrate. I woke up from a deep sleep from what sounded to be trumpets, but it was very like muffled trumpets. It almost sounded like a little bit in the distance, but loud enough to where I would hear it and wake up from it. And it sounded also more like angelic music, and like angelic singing and angelic music. And then I ran. I was so excited. I jumped out of bed and I ran over to my bedroom window, and I looked out of the window, and the sky. I looked up at the sky, and it was clear. It was clear, even though it was nighttime. It was clear, and I saw tons of. Hundreds of stars in the sky, and I started to see the sky move and shake and like kind of roll up on itself, and loud noises happening in the sky, and I knew it was it. And then I looked up at the sky and I started seeing white lights going into the sky super fast, and I told God, I was like, yes, this is it. I felt myself come off the ground. I felt myself lift up off the ground. My feet come up off the ground. And I was so excited. And I yelled out the window. I was like, yes, Jesus. I want to be with you, Jesus. I want to be with you, Jesus. But I didn't leave. I didn't leave the window. I didn't leave the house. And I just kept crying out to God that I want to be with him, and I love Jesus, and I want to be with Jesus. And then I woke up. And I was shaking a little bit, and I began to pray for a couple reasons. One, I was praying firstly to make sure that this isn't anything demonic, and I wanted to pray away any kind of demonic thoughts, to leave, and to have that peace and know that this is not something from the enemy. This is not kind of a dream that was contrary to my prayer a couple hours earlier. But also, second, I wanted clarity as to why I didn't leave, even though I began to levitate. I didn't go back down to the ground at all. I didn't touch the ground again. I just came up. I started to levitate and float up at the bedroom window, probably a couple feet off the ground. But I never left the window, and I wanted clarity as to why I didn't go. And I woke up immediately before I left, or anything like that. And I was going to try to go back to sleep, go back to bed, to see if the dream would continue. Have you ever had that thought of, I was like, it was such a good dream. I want to go back to sleep. And then you can never go back to sleep, or when you go back to sleep, you don't dream. Well, it's almost 7 o'clock now in the morning, and I got, things to do and get up, so I'm not going back to sleep. But I was praying for clarity, and I have yet to hear a response from God. But in my heart of hearts, I do find a peace knowing that this is a response to my prayer a couple hours earlier, that I wanted a rapture dream. And this never really happens. I have had one dream, but it wasn't as vivid. It was with my wife, but it wasn't as vivid as this one was. And I ran to the window, and it's not like the normal trumpets that you would normally think that you would hear, really loud, just a regular trumpet call. It sounded like trumpets. It sounded like instruments. And it sounded like a trumpet, multiple trumpets, not just one, like just one single, but multiple. And it sounded more like also angelic. I couldn't make it out. I couldn't make out the music. I couldn't make out, exactly, what it was. But I knew it was something angelic. I knew what I was listening to was something from heaven, was something from not here. And I woke out, like I said, I walked out to the window, and it was dark out, nighttime, and the sky just started to roll up and move and shake. And then I just saw the lights, the little circular, tons of circular white lights going up into the sky. And I was just so excited. I was so excited because this is it. This is it, Jesus, I want to be with you. And then I started to levitate. I started coming up off the ground. And that's when, about a couple feet, and that's when I just started yelling out the window, I want to be with you, Jesus. I want to be with you, Jesus. And shortly after, I woke up. And I'm still bedhead and all. I need to get a haircut. Oh my gosh, my wife was telling me I need to get a haircut. I don't know. I don't know. And I want more clarity. I don't know why I didn't go. And I started to cry a little bit. If I'm honest with you, I started to cry a little bit because my heart is like, I want to be with Jesus so bad. But, because you gotta be careful, because sometimes you just dream because you dream, right? You just dream because you dream. And it's nothing from God. And then sometimes our dreams can be sinful and be controlled in a sense from the enemy. We can have our dreams that are not of God. But I'm starting to find that peace that it was a response to that prayer that I had 100% from God about a rapture dream that I asked a couple hours prior. So I'm going to continue praying for more clarity to find out exactly, hopefully have another dream to have that clarity, or even a vision to have clarity, a more clarity of why I didn't leave, why I didn't shoot up with all the other lights. But I was like 5 feet off the ground already. But I just wanted to get that out here before I'll definitely not forget about it, but before it's not as vivid in my mind right now. And I wrote it down as well, but I wanted to get on here and share that with you guys, that dream that I had at night in the bedroom. So with that being said, whether you believe in a post-tribulation, pre-tribulation, mid-tribulation, pre-wrath, or you don't believe in a rapture at all, I feel in my spirit that it's soon, and that we ought to just get right with Jesus. Make sure that you have a relationship with Jesus. Make sure you know Jesus. Make sure that you understand the simplicity of childlike faith of the saving gospel of Jesus Christ, that he is the Son of God, that he came down to earth to take upon the wrath of God on himself so we don't have to, and that he died for your sins. He was crucified on the cross. He died for your sins, and that he was buried and he was resurrected on the third day. And if you believe that, you are sealed until the day of redemption. You are saved, and nothing can change that, because I feel that it is very, very soon. And I pray that you know him. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you on the next video.